psychology. We'll talk a little bit about maybe some books and some things that I've known that I've talked about. And I'm excited to get towards the action today. So, like always, guys, it's fun to bring on a new guest. We actually ran into these guests at the Money Show in Orlando. So, if you guys didn't tune into the Money Show, well, hey, here it is, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the middle screen. Let's bring on first Thor Young here. Good to have you on today, Thor. How we doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. It's really great to hang out with you and talk to your community and all that. Had a blast talking with at the Money Show with the guys out there. It was really cool.
Yeah, and today we're bringing on also Dr. Vanessa Charland. How we doing to this morning?
Hey guys, how are you? I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great shirt.
Love the
Great shirt.
shirt, right? We got to make a comment on the shirt, right? You got to rock and roll, baby. And in this market, we all need a little rock and roll in our lives. So it's great to have you guys on, of course. Let's first find out a little bit more about yourself. We'll start with Thor, and then we'll go to Dr. Vanessa.
Hello everybody out there. My name's Thor, and it's great to speak with everybody. I've been day trading for about a decade. Wrote a book on it, and do a lot of private mentoring and working with other traders. And that's kind of where I was, talking to your CEO about
Yeah.
and stuff like. It was a lot of fun. And but I actually am started off trading a lot of equities. I trade mostly futures now. Have always had a lot of fun trading equities and getting involved with that. I really liked the look you were giving a second ago about moving out to the larger time frame and looking out
Oh,
the
yeah.
trend. You're going to talk to my compadre here in a minute. She is one of the best trend line drawers on the planet. Like literally, she just crushes at it. So she'll be really fun when you talk about that. But seeing the higher time frame pulling in there, seeing how you guys are hitting some of these levels, I really liked what you were saying in the morning about the mentality behind day trading and
Hmm.
and how to capitalize. I mean, you guys are really giving some good stuff. I really like it.
Yeah, one of the things is Michael and I definitely have a lot of experience trading both sides, right? Michael trades a lot of systematic approach, and talking about this guy on this side, but he's very systematic, and he goes into more of that automative side of trading, which we get to enjoy because I'm subjective, Steve's subjective, and then kind of combo, but that's what we try to do. We try to tell everybody through experience kind of the tips and tricks that we've learned because we talk about it as paying it forward, right? Trying to help those other traders learn
Hmm.
where they're going.
I'm with your guy there. I'm a system. Or your guy there. I'm a system trader myself.
Yeah,
Highly specific. Dr. V will call it a recipe. Highly specific way I enter and exit every single trade.
love it. Love to hear it. All right. Tell us a little bit more about you, Dr. Vanessa Charlin.
Hey, so yeah, I'm Dr. V. I'm a clinical psychologist. I did a PhD in Belgium. Now I'm back in Canada. And I've been a clinician for about 10 years now. And I discovered trading about 3 years ago. I had, I think, the hardest journey. I sucked at it, like big time. Like it was hard. And one day I hit bottom and I was like, okay, I studied everything because I'm a student, right? I was always having the best grades. I'm very competitive. I published like more than 100 scientific papers, like why the markets were mean to me. I learned everything,
So
right?
mean.
They're
And
so mean. Yeah.
so mean. And I wanted to control, like you have to do this for me. Like, come on, I'm a winner. And I go first in trades also. That was very nice, like very impulsive, like very so it got very hard. And one day I was crying on my bathroom floor after about 1 year and a half. I was disgusted with myself. Of course, I was trading with my own money and losing my own money without
Yeah.
knowing what I was doing, right? So I said, okay, what's going on here? And I figured out that I was too overwhelmed with everything that I've learned. I was an like overlearner and under executor.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, this has to stop. So if I'm overwhelmed, what do I need? The opposite, right? So I went back. I deleted everything on my charts and I went back to Jesse Livermore, trend lines, support resistance, naked charts. So
Yep.
Naked charts,
naked
absolutely.
trading, guys, naked trading, like it's the best. And because of that system, okay, I trust these lines so much. They've been there forever. And people sometimes are like, "Well, it's so simple. Like, it's not working. It's like it has to be complex to work." Of course not.
No.
So yeah, simplicity. So simple trading is possible.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, it saved my life basically.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You really have to kind of work up the belief and mindset. I'll bring in Mark Douglas. I don't know if you guys have read Trading
Yes,
in the
Oh
Zone, of
yeah.
course.
big
It's one of my
fan.
favorite. Mark Douglas always talks about trading being a probability game, right?
Oh yes.
So I'd like to ask you guys, how can traders shift kind of their mindset from trying to predict market moves to thinking in purely terms of probability and risk management?
You want to go first, or?
I think you got this one. Go for it.
Go for it.
I think first of all, we need to understand that it takes time.
Yeah.
We have to suck at this first because we're humans,
Hmm.
and the brain is not wired to do that job.
Yep.
Everything is a big paradox. We come in for the money, yet it's the last thing that should be on our minds. Like, are you kidding me? So it takes time. And then you need to test stuff around, test strategies, find your flavor, right? What do
Yeah.
I like? What do I trust? Because I will not trust anything. I don't know nothing about this game.
Hmm.
And then when you find a strategy, you need to set the rules. Okay, what are the ingredients for that specific recipe? Okay. And then you go sim and you practice these rules until they become a habit. But I mean, it will take time for you to really detach from the outcome because, again, in normal life, when we do everything correctly, we expect a positive outcome. So when you get slapped in the face by NASDAQ when you did everything right, that sucks, right? What
Yeah,
the
it
hell?
does.
Oh yeah.
So
Rude.
I think the answer is we need to go through this corridor of suffering
Hmm.
first.
Mm.
Yeah.
And trading is a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And some don't want to hear about it. I get it. I respect that. But when you surrender to the master, that's when you start to get it. And
Yeah.
Metallica, right? So
I was gonna say.
Master of Puppets, okay, one of my favorite songs, obey the master, right? So I obey my master. And the lines for me are the best way to do it. So I don't know if I answered your question, but it takes.
No. Yeah, it
It's
does. It
yeah.
does.
That was
So
amazing.
to piggyback on that, like she's like, I'm so like, how much many traders come into trading and they just are ready to push buttons, right? You just want to throw all your money in there and just start going. You know what I mean? And like limited risk trading that I see across the top here.
Yeah.
Hello, like that's exactly what we're talking about, right? We want limited risk trading, but from the beginning, you can learn so much about trading without ever touching a mouse one time. And practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So
Yeah.
if you get in there and you start hitting buttons before you know what to do, you're going to develop tons of horrible trading behaviors that once you figure out how to trade will actually stagnate and maybe even derail you. You'll quit trading knowing exactly what you should have done, but just not able to do it and not know why. And that's because you built neural loops in there that are just keeping you from doing your thing. How do I learn about that? Oh yeah, that's still her.
That's
Uh,
yeah, that's a big problem because then you
Yeah.
have to undo yourself, basically.
The self-sabotage thinking, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
exactly.
it happens. And I think that this is also just the belief in the uncertainty, right? And you need
Hmm.
to get to that point where you also start to trust in your own abilities, right? I think that this is what traders struggle with the most. They come in, right? They think they got the first system, right, that they saw online, that it's going to work perfectly. They realize things don't work perfectly in any market.
Mm-mm.
There is no one system that's 100% accurate every single time. And if there is, they're lying to you.
100.
Because that's the
Well,
truth, right? I think we'd all be on that one system.
yeah,
But I
show me
think,
where it is, right? But I mean, this is
exactly.
Tom Hogard, another good author to throw out there. I don't know if y'all have ever read Best Loser Wins, right?
Oh, this guy
Amazing,
mentions it all
amazing
the
book.
time.
I love
But
that book.
this is out. This is one of those moments, right? Like Dr. V just said, suffering. The
Mhm.
suffering does not stop, right? That's the thing you got to get ready. Day trading is a lifelong endeavor of suffering.
Oh,
You will be taking losses. It doesn't matter how good you get, you will take losses daily, even more, right? You're going to have them, but it's the best loser who can take those small losses, not lose their control. And then when you're in the right trade, hold it without getting rid of it too early, actually hitting your targets, getting the money you need, even though you're rattled, right? You just lost 3 trades. Now I'm holding this one. I see green. I want to take it. Yeah, but if you take it now, it'll never outweigh the red, right? So it's very, very difficult. So best loser wins. It's a
yeah.
solid reference there.
Yeah, there's
Man,
a
there's so much great stuff you touched on, but I just love how you guys are connecting ideas, talking about how the suffering doesn't end. I mean, what's more spiritual than that? That just sounds like Buddhism to me, you know? And I think
that's
It
why I
is.
laugh.
Yeah,
We're
it
all
really
Mhm.
is.
monks. Very
I,
crazy
I
ones, by the way. Okay.
Very.
I study a lot of Buddhism because I have a philosophy degree.
Oh,
Nice.
And with that, there's a saying, right? Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional.
mm,
So
yeah,
there's gonna be pain in trading, but really the suffering happens when you can't stick to a system, when you
yeah,
can't buy into the uncertainties, right?
Mm,
And once we are realizing that, yeah, guess what? If you play trading, you're gonna lose. That's just the name of the game. But
period.
once we get through that and we can actually start worrying about what? Developing skills. Developing, like I say, it's always about decision making skills, right? How am I going to make decisions? Essentially, that's what day traders are trying to figure out. Your system can go all different types of places, but it's always about how do I make decisions, and then from there understand that I can have a certainty on the other side of that equation, right? Because the
Mm.
more that we search for certainty, the more that we run into that barrier. Talk a little bit more about this and how you guys finally are seeing and overcoming those barriers of just running into the wall.
You want to go first?
I'll do this one. So I think the systematic approach is really, the key for me.
Hmm.
So I actually found myself in the beginning quite emotional and quite unable to make those decisions, especially once the market really got going, especially once I took my first loss. You start to perceive the danger of everything. You lose consciousness. You're just out, right? Anyone out there, watching the feed right now, have you ever had that day where all of a sudden you like wake up and you've maxed out, right? And you're
Oh
like,
yeah.
wait, I don't even remember taking those trades, right? But that's you were just gone. So what do you do? How do you control yourself when this happens every time? And it actually does, right? You have to have a well-defined system that you've practiced very well. I come from a music background. I was a music education major. And then I ended up doing IT, so totally weird segue. But one of the things we learned when I did musical performance is that performance is when ability meets knowledge of ability,
Yeah.
right? So it's not that just you know how, it's that you have to know you know how, right? And then that's really when you can do what you do. And the systematic approach allows you to take the onus of the outcome from you and place it into the system, right? If it's wrong, not you, right? You adjudicate later, adjust the system, try again. It's kind of like Dr. V's clinical practice, right? You're going to do a hypothesis, right? You then need to test it. You know what I mean? And then back and forth. But if you vary the hypothesis in the middle, then what? Right?
All right, Michael, I'll kick it to you. You got any question here? So I don't take everything, but if not, I got more. You know me.
Well, I wanted to, especially because you were mentioning you were a systematic trader as well. And I know this from personal experience that the mental side of the game is different when it comes to discretionary traders, and especially traders who are more trying to come up with a plan on the fly based off what they're seeing intraday, or a news event or earnings gap or something like that. And then systematic traders, where it's more about the discipline to follow the
Mm.
thing that you've hopefully already built. So any words for just those people individually? It's going to be a smaller subset, but I know a lot of people, they get into systematic trading with their goal of, oh, my emotions are the problem, so that's why I want to get into systematic trading. And I always kind of chuckle, because you're not removing the emotional aspect of trading. It's just changing. So some
Mm.
words for those people who maybe they've already done the work, they have the system, they've done the back test, that they know it works, but they just find themselves deviating or interfering with that back test too frequently.
I would say stop doing that. I would say go back to bracket trading. Until you get your system nailed down that you can execute it perfectly, you should measure your win rate on your execution, not on your trade outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you need a win rate very high, like 80, 90, 100% of good execution. Then
Hmm.
you let the bracket do the thing. You go for base hits and you build that psychological capital. Your trading has to be mechanical, because as soon as the human mind will be there in a trade, you will have the emotional brain showing up and trying to protect you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So don't do discretionary until like a couple of years of seeing your system work, and you could maybe take decisions on the fly and say, well, I don't like this price action, I'm getting out. Okay. But first, build a solid foundation of mechanical stuff. And one way to help you build the rules, the trade book, the recipe, is having the employee analogy. If somebody would trade your account today, what would be the rules? And then at the end of the day, you come back home and you're like, why did you lose money on that RTY trade? Your employee will say, I was just following the rules, boss.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not about the outcome, it's about following the rules.
Yeah.
And again, 90% of people I work with, they don't have a trading recipe.
Yeah.
And then another 90% of them who have a trading recipe don't listen to the rules.
Hmm.
Yet they think they suck at trading. Well, they don't most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Right. And to piggyback on that, imagine this. Imagine if you did hire somebody to be your trading person and they came back and gave you missed executions all over the place. Would you hire them for the next day to trade your account again?
Hmm.
Right. So why are you so willing to accept a behavior from yourself that you
Mm-hmm.
would not be willing to accept from someone you've hired? Shouldn't you hold yourself to a higher standard than you would someone else?
Yeah.
And if not, why? Like, what's going on in there? That's going to be a psychological trap right there. You know what I mean? Because now you literally have clearly defined reasons why you want to do what you do. You know what, you should do it. But even when attempting to hold in it, you don't have the control, which means you've got a whole lot of other things going in there that you need to deal with. And, and that's a big area where we've found, in the communities I work with and where Dr. V has been so amazingly helpful, because there's very, very few real traders out there that are also clinical psychologists, right? With a DR in front, right? I'm not not performance coach, because I've been doing this for a while. So if you have some of these really hard issues that really require some real unwinding,
Yeah.
I mean, these are the kind of people you're going to want to look for, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's hard to come by.
Yeah. The subconscious mind comes into play,
Mm.
right? And I think that that's what we're talking about also, is that how much of trading behavior is really driven by the subconscious beliefs that you have,
Mhm.
right? And you could just be a person that, let's just be honest, maybe you've never really won in life. And that's actually affecting your trading, right? You're not used to winning. So at this point, what do? You lose. You do what you're used to doing. And
Because
this
it
is
Hmm.
feels
why,
comfortable. It feels comfortable to
yeah,
lose because your habit is to lose. You're used to that.
yeah,
So everybody find what they're looking for in the markets. Ed Secoda, right?
Hmm.
exactly. And I think it's an important one, right? And I think that, one of the things that at least has helped me is that growing up, I played a lot of sports and I played baseball, right? Where it's 3 out of 10 and you're an all-star, right? So essentially in that mentality, it's a losing mentality to begin with, right? I talk about baseball as being a loser sport. It
Mm,
really is. It's all about how to not lose, right? How to not be that bad, really. That's really
Right.
what it is.
right.
And I think that that mentality is how you got to maybe start playing it into trading, right? At first, I talk about just become the survivor, right? Just stop losing, right? Let's just first try to get to 0 before we try to get to 100,
I
right?
For
love it.
sure. For sure.
And I think there's always like stages that we're
Exactly.
developing, right? At
Yes.
first, usually it's the losing stage. No one likes to be there, right? We all know those traders that just keep blowing through money, money, money. Then they move into more that survivor stage. Then I talk about the lunch money stage where they can just make a little bit. They could just maybe bring you out to lunch, but that's also a pat on the back, right? You're no longer a loser, right? You might not be thriving, but you're no longer that continuous losing mentality.
That's
And
what we say, man.
then you
Survive
can
until you
start.
thrive, man. Survive until you
Survive
thrive.
until you thrive. That's the
You
way
know?
it has to be in life in general, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because as we take risk, we are going to take steps back. But the idea is to move in a kind of a stage mentality, right? Developing your mindset, developing those decision making skills so that you can find success.
I feel like you're talking Dr. V's language right now. I mean, she literally has the 5 stages that she does in a thing, and when, as we work through traders in our private mentoring that we do,
Yeah.
you're literally walking them through the stages of development. I mean, so you're so on point. And I love the baseball reference. I played some ball in high school, and then decided ball or music, and I picked music. Well, look how that worked out. I'm a stock trader. Anyway, but that was one of the things that always resonated with me in that performance category. Is it's the errors that really add up to everything, right? It's the a term I heard Stephen Goldstein say once, which is
Yeah.
Alpha Mind. He said behavioral slippage isn't the money you lose; it's the money you never make. Right. So then this is kind of like if you watch any professional sport or anything, I'm from St. Augustine in North Florida. We got the Jaguars,
Yeah.
great team. It's kind of, the issue they have is, they always find a way to lose. And I don't know what it is, but it's always just that one offensive guy who went off sides at the wrong time. It's the guy who didn't run the right route. So there was a pick six that wasn't supposed to happen. It's always the errors.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it to what Dr. Vanessa talks, keeping it simple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably not keeping it simple. Not in, hey, I need to do this and potentially could get this outcome, but I need to do this act, right? And I think that's the hardest thing. That's why I also say for traders sometimes, like, especially when we take like a big loss, if you cut the loss and it didn't become that just complete disaster, give yourself a pat on the back
Yeah.
is so positive. And I actually talk
Mm.
about it all the time. Like, you actually should just look at yourself and like literally give yourself a pat on the back. Like, that's how you do it, right? That's how you do it when
Like,
you're doing it
that's my boy.
right.
Yeah.
And then that way, when you start to do things wrong, you don't just get into this rut. You realize, hey, I just broke my rule. Like you've mentioned, I just broke it. And if I broke it, well, that's the recipe to disaster, right? And I don't want to do the recipe to disaster no
No.
more, right? And I think that that's one of the ways that you learn, especially with time. Like you mentioned, it takes time for you to really see this, to see your own personal beliefs play into trading. But I'll kick it to you guys as final words. What would you tell those traders out there, of course, to try to keep developing? And then also give us a couple mentions of where traders can find you guys so they can continue on with this conversation.
I would say take a deep breath in, okay? And just accept that naturally we all suck at this. Okay? That's the thing, that's the thing.
Mhm.
We're not good at this. Okay?
Yeah.
And then also nobody, no one has discipline or willpower when it comes to a trade. We use discipline and willpower to follow the rules. But in a trade, nobody does.
Yeah.
So calm down, relax. You're a good human being. Okay? So if you want to reach me, I'm on Instagram. So Dr. Vanessa Charland.
Hmm.
Okay? And I just got stopped out on my RTY trade. That's okay. Didn't work out.
Is gold still going down? I've been having fun with that today. It is great. I kind of wrapping out. For me, all I want to say is, and kind of piggybacks into that, is take your time with your trading. I've worked with lots of traders, hundreds at this point. I mean, I'm on YouTube every day. I'm in a large trading community. I mentor hundreds of traders, right? I do not have any traders in my circle group that made their money high frequency trading, right? High frequency trading just racks your comms and it just gets you stopped out. You're tripping over dimes tripping over dollars trying to pick up dimes. It's just not, ATR is a thing. These big equities, you get like the Teslas, the Nvidias, these things move $12 a day, $15 a day. Why not get $9 of it? Why not get $10 of it? Why are you going for these small targets? So take your time, trade less, trade with intention, and then just don't touch it. Once you're in the trade, set your brackets and let the market cook. If it doesn't work, you're going to get amazing empirical data. If it does work, you're going to make money, right? So either way, you win. And as I think with my systematic brother up there, I just think if you really follow in, dial in, and really perform it that way, you'll find a lot less anxiety in the trading. So you can find me. I'm on X at Thor Young, and on IG at Thor Young BBT. So come by, say hi. Vanessa and I are actually working right now on doing a hybrided mentoring service. So we're going to be offering, I've got about 10 years of experience in now, lots of technicals, and she's the doc, right? And best trend line drawer I know, and an amazing technician herself. So we do that and try to help everybody out. Find us on IG, say hi, and we really look forward to hanging out with Trade the Pool and seeing you guys more. I know I'm talking to my people about your equity prop, and another great way to limit your risk to get into the pool, get trading, and maybe you don't have to empty out your whole bank account to get a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a
Thank
pleasure to
you.
have you guys on, and definitely look forward to reaching out to you guys more and more. We're looking to do some more podcasting and talking about these conversations, because I think these are the conversations that every trader needs to listen to really get to that next step. So thank you for pushing traders all out there. Threw up multiple links there in the chat that you guys can just click and give them a good follow. It's good to have you guys on, and we'll look forward to having you guys back. Thank you, Thor
Thanks for
and
coming
Dr.
by.
Vanessa Charland.
Good chat.
Take care, guys. All right, guys. What a
Man, that
good
was-
conversation. What you guys think? I mean, I told you guys it was going to be fun. I'm glad you guys stuck around.
That was
No,
great.
it's
It felt like
great
they were
time.
speaking to my soul.
And